Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to Tea with Mama D. I love all the delay. I don't know if I'll ever get used to that. Anyway, I'm so glad you could join me today. And we're going to talk about overcoming doubt and fear. Pretty big topic, pretty important topic for anything that we do, whether we're talking education, if you're a homeschooling mom, a business owner, a worker, if you're human, right? I think we all have doubts and fears, and we all are constantly kind of battling that, right? And I think this topic is incredibly timely as moms and dads out there, parents, you're trying to make the best decisions that you can regarding education for your kids. And I can understand that. Like, you can't imagine. And I think we all have those stories, right? And before we, launch into this like heavy topic, and I think it's kind of all part of that topic, I want to remind everyone that the number one thing that we can always do is simply look at our kids, right? Simply remember, what's important, right? Take this mug, for example, the one I'm using today. It is a Christmas mug. I love it because it's huge. It's got a big handle. And my daughter knew that about me. She knew that I love tea. She got me this many years ago, and knew what she wanted to get me, found the one she wanted, and I keep it out year round because it reminds me of her love. It reminds me of what's important: good cup of tea, my Bible, my family, right? And it brings me joy, just like it says here. There's joy on it, right? And it brings me joy. So it stays out year round. So yeah, I should tell you what mugs I use and where they come from, since we're talking about tea with Mama D or coffee, whatever is good for you. As we get started today, I want to share with you guys that I'm going to provide you with, and every time we talk, I want to try to provide you with practical things that I do or that I suggest to clients and family and friends for whatever topic that we're talking about, because I think it's really important that you guys walk away from your time with me, if you're going to spend this precious time with me, because believe me, it is an honor that you are taking time away and spending this time with me. I want to provide you with some practical action steps. That's for a decade more now, all my teens that work with me, all my moms that work with me, they know I'm big on action steps, right? Because we can think all we want and we can dream all we want, and that's awesome. But we need to put those thoughts, those dreams, those ideas into action, right? And talking today about doubts and fears, a personal story. When I started homeschooling, I was just sharing this with actually a client the other day. People ask me, "Oh, you must have always wanted to homeschool, and you've got this, and gosh, this must have been what you always wanted to do." I said, "Are you nuts? I was a lawyer. I didn't grow my own food, make my own clothes. As a matter of fact, when my mom tried to help me learn how to sew when we were young, it was a disaster, not going to happen." Yeah, I had a lot of preconceived notions, first of all. Second of all, no, I knew that the school system was broken. I knew when I was miserable and when it worked, in my experience. I understood all of that, and I was trying to fix that from the inside. So my kids started out in school. But one of the scariest things, you want to talk about self-doubt, that I have ever encountered in my entire life was choosing to pull 4 children, ages 8 to 4, 7 to 3, when I decided to homeschool. Wow. You want to talk about self-doubt and fear and tears, and I'm going to mess up my children. And I get it. I totally get it. If you're a homeschooling mom and I watching this, or dad, because I'm telling you, the fear is real, no matter what kind of which parent you are, right? Um, I'm telling you, it is normal. Those of you who are trying to decide whether or not to homeschool, I want to help you today to understand, to help you overcome those doubts and fears. That doesn't mean they're going to go away entirely. That doesn't mean you're not going to question. And quite honestly, I think that's good. I think a little bit of doubt and fear, just like I was sharing with one of my kids recently, some adrenaline is good. My daughter is beyond excited about her new position and what she gets to do, but she's also scared to death. They have given her huge responsibility. It's only her. She is, like I said, she's thrilled. She is so excited, but she's also scared. That is the best combination. Can I just share that with you? To me, that is fantastic. That is leadership in the making. That is God providing you with this circumstance in this situation where you can thrive and shine. And as a Christian, to me, that's also the best circumstance, because it reminds me God's the one in control, not me. And that is important. And everybody should understand that. And I think you know that by now with me and watching these. Faith is the foundation, the bedrock of my life. If it is not yours, God bless, and I say that with all, if you're not a Christian, or faith is not a part of your life, whether you're Muslim or, Jewish, whatever your faith may be, if that's not a part of your life, these principles and everything I'm going to talk about still ring true. But for me, number one thing that I try to do, that is one of the most difficult things you can do, is to try to see myself as God sees me. Have you ever noticed it's easier to believe the bad stuff, and it's easier to self-talk negative to yourself? Absolutely. We all have seen that. A huge, huge thing that you can train yourself to do, and by you training yourself to do this, you are modeling this for your children, is to see yourself in a positive light. So one thing that I recommend you do, and I do this in my programs, I do this for myself, it is very difficult, is to come up with a list of 10 positive things about yourself, 10 strengths that you have. And if you hit a wall, if you are really struggling, talk to the people who love you and know you the most. Ask them in all sincerity and humility. Say, I'm struggling right now. Can you tell me one or two strengths that you see in me? It is okay to do that. And it's actually really important to do that. Even ask your kids, because when they come to you, and remember, you want to be saying this so they don't need to come to you, but it's important, right? That you ask and say, what are some strengths that you see in me? That exercise is humbling, but it's also important, because we all have incredible strengths and so many positive things about us. So starting there, like I said, you start with yourself, right? You guys are going to hear this so many times. You notice this thread running through. It starts with you and modeling that, and how important that is. Number 2, you've got to get back to basics. Get back to basics. Okay, I love to say something on my mission trips and at my camps, and another Mama D-ism. Let's keep the main thing, right? Keep the main thing. So like, for instance, on my mission trips, it's great. And I may have mentioned this even in another Tea with Mama D. It's great that we're getting to take a day off. We always make sure there's a day off where we go sightseeing, or like when we were in Spain, we spent a day in Madrid, or in Rome, we spent a couple days in Rome. It's so vitally important that you remember why you're there and what the purpose and goal is. What are you doing? What is the main thing? The main thing is spreading God's word, right? And what that means and what that entails. Well, what we're talking about here with with self-doubt and we're questioning ourselves and are we really doing the right thing? Hear me on this. Both public school, private school parents, also homeschooling parents, all of us, all parents, right? We are constantly second guessing ourselves. And one of the biggest detriments is what that person's doing and what that person's doing, and that person, it must be better than what we're doing. And oh my gosh, look at those amazing kids and what they're doing, and that mom has got it all together. And we're comparing ourselves all the time. We're comparing ourselves to other parents. We're comparing our kids to other kids. Now, there's a little bit of that is okay in little doses. Like it is important to kind of get a gauge. But guess what? You're not keeping the main thing the main thing. You've got to remember and come back to what is the most important thing about our children and our family and their education. What is it that we are trying to provide our children? Is it truly knowledge in our information age? It's not. It's not. They can find information at the snap of a finger. The most important thing to parents is character and people and values, and in our household, critical thinking, leadership, hard work, perseverance, right? So character traits, that is the main thing. Let's keep the main thing the main thing. So instead of constantly looking outward, we need to rein it in, especially when you're finding yourself full of doubts and fears in that area. You need to say to yourself, remember, Mama G said it, keep the main thing the main thing. Stop. I also have another thing, my 3 deadly C's. If you get our 15 strategies to resilience, it's free. Go to our website, aspireeducation.us. It's just amazing. 15, of course, I think it's amazing, but it's my 15 steps, right, to help build resilience. Exactly this, right? Pull it back in. No, do not succumb to the Mama D's 3 deadly C's: comparing, condemning, or criticizing, right? And you're doing all 3 to yourself a lot of times when you are self-doubting and when you're fearing, right? And you're letting your fear overcome. Keep the main thing the main thing. Get back to basics. What is important to our family? What is it that is important and at the core of why we do everything we do? And it's all about those relationships and developing children who are compassionate, kind, competent, confident, right? Some more C's there. That is the main thing. And here again, oh man, you guys are getting chock full of like whole Mama D-isms this morning. If anybody who knows me, who's watched this, I'll say, what is Mama D's favorite question? Why? Why? And sometimes maybe, well, why not? Why not? Okay. But essentially, why? By keeping the main thing, you have to know your why. If you haven't done that yet, you need to watch some of my other videos. And when I walk you through, and pretty soon, yeah, I'm super excited. We got some other stuff coming down the pike here that will help you do this. But what is your why? Your why, hear me on this. Your why informs your how and your what. Your why informs your how and your what. You have to begin with your why. That's how you'll know what your main thing is, right? What's your why? What are you doing? Why are you doing it is the most important question, not what am I going to do? So what happens is when we start comparing and looking out and doubting ourselves, and honestly, you better believe what you're seeing is awesome. Guess what? As somebody else is doing, praise them. Praise their children. Give them a compliment, but that should not in any way make you doubt yourself and fear yourself. Is one of the greatest lessons my mom gave me. And I will never forget it. I can tell you where I was standing in the kitchen, where she was sitting. I can tell you the feelings I had, and I was all incensed over a friend and a situation. And what my mom gave me in terms of what is important to focus on, it is absolutely not about other people and what they're doing and what you're seeing. First of all, you're only seeing that much, right? It's like Facebook, right? We see all the good stuff. We don't see the struggles and the slodging through the emotional stuff and everything that happens all the time in our daily lives to get to those victories. We all have them, right? So remember your why. When you're thinking about the what and what am I going to do and how am I going to do this, and you're looking outward and at all of these different things, and oh my gosh, with education, you guys, these days, Facebook is wonderful in some ways, but please remember, getting on these groups with thousands of people in them is going to create so much confusion and so much self-doubt. And yes, can you get answers? Yes, absolutely. And I'm not saying that they're not amazing people on there who are providing wonderful advice, but it may not be the right advice for your family. It may not be the right advice for your kids. So you've got to just pull it back in, okay? And keep the basics. Remember your why. It informs your how and your what. Okay. And last thing, gosh, I can't believe I just want to share on this topic so much. The last thing, so I'm big on threes. So your third thing this morning that I want to share with you about overcoming doubt and overcoming these fear obstacles is think about one habit that you would like to change. We all know it. We all know that there's something that you're not doing that's niggling at the back of your brain that will be in keeping with your why, that will be a good example to your children, that will be a strong reflection of what you want to build in your life. What is one habit, just one, that you can change? Forget the rest. Maybe you're like, oh my gosh, that list, I can come up with 10 easy, Mama D. Easy. I get it. I totally get that. Forget all the rest. Pick one. Forget the rest. What is that one habit? Maybe it's you want to get up 1 hour earlier in the morning so you can have some quiet time, some reflection time. But when your alarm goes off, you kind of lay there and go, oh, okay, I think I can, maybe, hit the snooze a few times, and all of a sudden you jump out of bed and it's 15 minutes extra. Okay. Maybe that's the habit. Maybe it's you want a better bedtime routine. Maybe it's you want to make a family day for your family. That's important. You're recognizing that the connections are kind of being lost, and you want to rekindle that. You want a game night for your family. Whatever that one, just one habit. And when I say habit, as you can hear, it may not be like just a personal habit, but it's still a habit and or something that you want to implement that will take consistency, and you need to be the one to lead it. So it could be for you personally, it could be for your family. I recommend first, and again, it's not all size fit, everything fits, right? For every person, or it's a phrase I'm trying to say, one size fits all, I guess. It might be that it needs to be a personal habit. If you are really overcome with self-doubt and fear and worry, I would recommend that it be something along the lines, like I said, that 1 hour of reflection. Maybe you need to get outside and exercise more. And you say, you know what, I need some time. And I would recommend that. A lot of times that is very valuable for us, is taking whatever time it is, maybe an hour a day. Maybe you can't spare that, and it's half an hour a day. Maybe you can talk to your spouse and say, I need, 1 day a week where, or, half a day a week where I can just do what I need to do, and I can count on you to take care of the kids in the house or whatever needs to happen. Think about that, okay? Where you need to reflect on one thing that you need to make a habit and do for yourself in order to provide not only that empowerment, it's very empowering, especially if it's a habit that you need to change, like the getting up 1 hour early in the morning. And I have to say, it's kind of hard sometimes for me. Like I did that actually, asking my husband for a day, most of a day when we were homeschooling and we were in the midst of homeschooling. And I just said, look, our schedule allows now with what you're doing for work. I need a day where I leave this house and get myself together. That was really hard. And it was hard to keep that habit. Right. And he had to help me keep that habit. Cause they'll be like, well, no, this is going on, or that's going on, or no, I know you need help. I kept trying to kind of give it back. Okay. So it is a habit. Moms, hear me. I hear you. I see you. That is a habit and it's valuable. Okay. All right. Like I said, I could talk on this for so long. I get it. I am with you. Please, please, please. I haven't even drunk my tea very much. Please, please hear me on this. You are valuable. You are loved. And if you will stop comparing, remember to keep your why, get back to the basics. See yourself as God sees you. If you're not, do not have a faith, it's the same idea of strengths, 10 strengths. Just do it. I promise you, those self-doubts and fears will dissipate at least and allow you to keep going and do what you need to do. All right. Till next week. See you later. Have an awesome week. And